Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. U.S. government seizes over 10 million fake N95 masks in COVID-19 probe. Now that's one headline. Here's another. CDC study finds that 2 masks are better than 1. Now both were headings of articles published in the Gleaner this February. Even after 1 year, masks, which is one of the primary methods used in the fight against COVID-19, are still a source of controversy and concern. Indeed, many are still wondering if some of the masks we're wearing are really safe. Well, to discuss these and other related concerns, we have online Dr. Andrew Manning, President of the Medical Association of Jamaica, and Dr. Garth Rattray, a family doctor. Good morning, doctors.
Good morning, sir.
Hi, morning. Morning, Garth, and good morning to your listeners.
Great. Good to have you both with us. Before we delve into our discussion on mask and mask wearing, it would be remiss of me to have you both on this program without first asking, how are you doing? How are your colleagues coping in light of the recent surge? How bad is the situation? Beginning with you, Dr. Manning.
Well, the situation is bad. We have reached the limit of or near the limit of the capacity to treat COVID patients, and we are still waiting for the full launch of the field hospitals. There are things that the hospitals are doing to try and create some more bed space, but we are certainly close to the limit, and it is very concerning. The surge is here, and unless we bring down the numbers, the situation is going to become critical.
We are in our 9 hospitals at capacity, 13 out of 22 on red alert, yes. 2,218 new cases in the last week.
Yes.
I mean, how much?
And the thing to remember with the surge is that if the surge continues on the upward curve, that is, every day, if we continue to see more and the pressure on the hospitals is going to increase, and even the increased capacity with the field hospitals will be depleted eventually.
What are your colleagues doing?
Everybody is under stress. Everybody's under stress. We're doing our best to cope. We're doing what we have to do. But like members of the general population, we are under stress. And we are also awaiting the arrival of the vaccine. I think that is going to be the next critical point in this crisis. The sooner we get the vaccine and the sooner we start vaccinations, I think that will be the quickest way to try and bring down the numbers.
Dr. Rattray, you're a family physician. How things looking from your perspective?
Well, as Dr. Manning said, it's looking very bad because we have reached our red line, like in a car when you rev it up to the very top. Limits something we have to give eventually. But you know what's also giving? Doctors, they're getting sick. They did about a quarter of doctors have tested, have had COVID or had COVID. I'm one of them. So, as a patient gave it to me, obviously. Because I didn't go anywhere.
Sorry, doctor, you said a quarter of the doctors?
Those tested, a quarter of them actually had it. Yes. So the thing about it is that not only are we on a severe stress, we're getting sick. So what will happen when more get sick? Who's going to take care of the sick people? And people they're not thinking like that. They're just going about their business, getting infected. I was like, okay, it doesn't matter because most of them are fine. But others looking at it from them are not fine, and that's not bothering me. I'm worried about everything, but I'm also worried about my colleagues. Physically, as for psychologically, it's extremely stressful. Most of them not saying much because they employ the government, and I understand that. But if they were to speak up, you'll be shocked to know what's going on. With their stress level, work level, everything, it's just horrible. It's a nightmare, basically.
Now, one of the articles mentioned a while ago by me, it speaks of fake N95 masks. But aren't there also fake surgical masks out there as well? Dr. Manning, how prevalent are they, if so?
Well, so with respect to the surgical mask, you have masks that are not medical grade. All right, they may be suited for certain purposes, but certainly you have masks out there that would appear to be what the doctors wear as genuine surgical masks, but they are not the same grade and they're not as effective. They would still convey some amount of protection. But certainly, if you're going to buy a mask, you need to take a closer look at the label to see if it is a surgical grade or medical grade mask. If you are buying it off of the internet, because in all of this, the masks aren't easy to get. All right, it's not so easy to get them now, even on Amazon. So whatever you're buying, you have to do a certain amount of due diligence to see what grade it is, medical grade or otherwise. With respect to the N95 mask, if you're buying them from a brand that is from America or Europe, well, from America, look for something that says it is NIOSH certified, NIOSH certified. But certainly, when we purchase in these things, you have to have a certain degree of caution. Check out the label.
So I'm looking at a box of masks as I speak to you now.
Yeah.
And it says at the right bottom of it, not for medical use.
All right. What kind? Not brand. Is it an N95 mask or?
No.
A surgical.
Right. Looking surgical mask.
Because remember, masks would have been made for a long time for different purposes. And as a matter of fact, the N95 masks were really used in industry. In among miners and persons who work with a lot of dust and that kind of thing. So you have them being produced for non-medical purposes. It's just that now, in relation to the COVID-19 pandemic, certainly the ones that the healthcare workers use need to be medical grade.
Dr. Rachi, your take on that? What do we look for? How do you differentiate?
It can be difficult because we have to depend on our source, right? And hopefully they're not so terrible that they're actually lying and putting our finger on the label. But I can tell you with the one from 3M, there's a website you can go on and put in numbers and it can tell you if it's authentic or not. So on the box to get the mask in, with a number somewhere, which the website tells you all of that, and you can tell from it if it's genuine or not. So those who heard about how many thousands that were fake, the numbers didn't match up at all, and you would know.
Yeah.
You have to do some due diligence because you have some of the, I don't want to use the term counterfeiters, but some of the producers of other masks will create products that look similar to the proper thing. So you really have to, as Dr. Ratchet said, put in the numbers and again look for something that says NIOSH certified. You have to be careful.
Right. Do we look for filtration percentage and all of that? I'm seeing on this 95% filtration of whatever.
Well, for the N95s, that's what the 95 actually means. It's supposed to be efficient, but it comes out with a thing called microns. A centimeter. It takes 2.5 to make an inch, and it takes 100.
Break. We'll be right back.
Oh, sure.
The time by Phoenix Vision Healthcare, your eye center 65 Plaza Falmouth is 7:15.
Bear with each other and forgive as the Lord forgave you. So says Colossians 3:13. Try showing love to one another. See how much better that feels? Let's work together to make Jamaica a gentler, kinder society. A message from the Church of the Open Bible, 12 Washington Boulevard. Join in our worship service Sundays at 8 a.m. right here on Love 101.
Serve! Give me a pack of water crackers, Miss G. No, not the dear one. You think me have money for you? Give me National Water Crackers. National Water Crackers taste good and it costs less.
Yes, Miss G. Give your customers National Water Crackers, Jamaica's own, Jamaica's best water crackers.
You're tuned to Love 101, the family station. This is an important announcement from JN Bank for Path and Poor Leaf beneficiaries. Cashier JN Bank issued checks at select JN locations on Saturday, February 27, between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. in the following parishes: Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, St. James, St. Anne, St. Mary, and St. Thomas. Contact the Minister of Labor and Social Security at 876-922-8007 for more information, or visit their website at mlss.gov.jm or their Facebook page. A government-issued ID must be presented to cash checks. For convenience, persons with JN Bank accounts should deposit their checks. Beneficiaries without JN Bank accounts can present their government-issued ID and TRN to open one. That was an update from JN Bank for Path and Poor Leaf beneficiaries.
Now more than ever, Protex reminds you to wash your hands. A 40-second hand wash with soap could help prevent COVID-19. Look for Protex at your nearest store.
Out of many one people, out of many one juice, out of many real fruit, but there ain't no substitute. We put the best fruit in, pour out enough blood in, bring out the sunshine in and the true juice. This is the juice of Jamaica. Every fruit, every tropical flavor. When you feel the heat, you know say you want be true juice with your neighbor. Out of many, one juice, true juice.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint, and we are discussing the whole matter of fake masks and mask fatigue. And we have online Dr. Andrew Manning and Dr. Garth Rattray. Dr. Rattray, before the break, we're trying to distinguish the fake from the genuine.
I talk about filtration, I think. As you know, all masks have pores in them. And the thing about it is try to catch things going in. Just to divert a bit, people know that the virus is extremely small, of the order of like 0.1 of a micron, 0.2 of a micron. Now, a micron is a micrometer. It takes 1,000 of those to make a millimeter, and 100 millimeters to make a centimeter, and 2.5 of those to make an inch. So you can imagine what that is. A microscope cannot see it. But so it can technically go through a pore, because it's about 0.3 microns a pore is. But that's not the way viruses travel. They don't go naked on the place. They go in a droplet. And there are regular droplets, and there's something they call droplet nuclei, which are pretty small. But it gets even more interesting. The good masks, like the N95s, they have a kind of charge in them, an electrical charge. So, So when the particles are going towards it, they don't go in a straight line, they kind of bounce around a bit and they get trapped on the material, right? So if they try to go through the pore, it's very difficult for them to do that. So they get trapped. First of all, what they're going with is this droplet, which is virus is in on a droplet. It's bigger than virus itself. That's one thing makes it big, but then it gets caught onto the mask, and therefore it can't get through. You can get around the edges. If I talk about putting on 2 masks to kind of keep the edges on your face and to increase the filtration. So it gets very technical, but the thing about it is that you need to wear, the best thing is to wear 2 masks, and one of them should at least have a filtration device in it, like a surgical mask, which has more, it's better because than a regular cloth mask, because it's sort of the quote-unquote paper. And even the pores, they have little fibers in the middle of the pores, which trap them again. You understand? But they can't be reused. And with cloth masks, by the way, when you wash them, you get the pores bigger and they become less efficient fast. But by the 4th wash, they will become a 5th efficient. Yeah.
Hold on, Dr. Rattray. Repeat that, please. This is important information. That if you have the cloth mask and you wash them,
which is good.
Yeah.
By about the 4th or 5th wash, they become less efficient because the pores stretch out some more. Although you and I can't see it, the fire is efficient. Right. So people talk about put them in the sun, which the ultraviolet light. If they're dirty, that's different. But to put them in the sun to get ultraviolet light on them, probably better than actually washing them and scrubbing them and wringing them out because you damage them. So it gets complicated, really. So to walk around with these little masks, better than nothing, but really not better than nothing. You should wear something, but still, if you want to be more efficient, you wear 2 masks. One of them should be a surgical mask or something like that, which has a better filtration. If you can get the N95 as a person, medicine does work with people, not only medicine, but with the work of people. That's what you should be wearing, along with another mask over it. I wear an N95 and a surgical mask.
Oh?
Yes, because I know that when I was wearing one, I got it. so I wear 2. I will wear 2 since last year.
You wear what, N95 when you got it?
Yes, but the thing about you have edges, You can get up here around the edge. Right, so even when you breathe in, you can suck it, around the edge. So it gets difficult, it gets tedious, but it's what's happening now, right? Because truth is that a lot of people are wearing nothing at all. That's the problem. They wear something, but they wear nothing at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other thing about the mask, and I agree with everything that God said, is that you need to choose a mask that fits you. As you said, if you have a lot of space around the edges, it's not really conferring as much protection to you or to other people. And in fact, the surgical mask in particular, really are designed to... Yes.
1 minute, I'm sorry to cut you. But the ones that are sold in the shops where people buy, is really, you don't have any choice in terms of that, in terms of custom fitting, right?
Well, that's one of the things in terms of wearing 2 masks. There's a way to put on the other mask on top of it, and by how you fold the loops, crossing it over to try and get the edges to come down. But the thing about the masks are there to protect you, but they are more effective, especially the surgical masks, at protecting other people, right? Because the assumption is at this point in time, most people or everybody in the community, you have to assume has COVID-19. That's what community spread means. And so when you are wearing a mask, you're not just protecting yourself, but you will be helping to stop the spread to other people. And the point that Garth raised about the washing and so on is important. Washing it with bleach actually neutralizes a lot of the charges, and so inactivates or makes the mask ineffective. So instead of having just one mask that you're going to wear every day until it gets dusty and so on, you really need to think about having a few of these masks. If the mask gets wet, if you're sweating and so on, it becomes less effective. So walk with a few of the masks. And first and foremost, wear the mask and wear it properly. We see too many people with the mask hanging down underneath the chin, or they have it on the mouth and it doesn't cover the nose. So when you wear a mask like that, it is ineffective. Last thing now, the thing with the mask, you have to remember, put it on and take it off properly. Right. People who catch the infection when they have the mask, most times, you can't say what happens each and every time, really happens when they're putting on and taking it off. Mm-hmm. So when you have it on, don't touch your front of it with your hand. Right. Touch only the ear loops. When you take it off, dispose of it properly and wash your hands. When you're putting on a new mask, make sure that you hand sanitize. Touch it by the ear loop, put it on. At that point, you can touch your front to mold it. And these surgical masks have a little metal thing at the top that needs to be bent down and molded to your nose bridge. That will help to prevent it from falling down. And then your hand sanitize.
When you need to adjust it, though, you already put it on, but halfway in the day you need to readjust it. How do you readjust the mask properly? What should you do and not do?
Well, wash your hands first. Because remember, the principle behind washing your hands meticulously using hand sanitizer is that your hand could have touched the surface where the virus was. Yeah. So whatever you're doing with the mask, you wash your hands. Then if you have to touch the front, or touch the metal thing to mold it, or touch the loops, you do so, and then you wash your hands again.
Is it better to use the loop to do the adjustment rather than putting your hand on the front of the mask?
It depends on what you have to adjust, because if you can, the answer is yes. But there are times when the mask has dropped down and you're not really able to pull it back up by just adjusting the loops.
Right.
But certainly, you should avoid touching the front of the mask.
Right. Dr. Ratri,
Yes,
Dr. Manning mentioned a while ago about the ear loop and crisscrossing it. My words, really.
Yeah.
I have seen some of that crisscrossing thing being done, and I've seen some of our leaders doing it. But I think yesterday I observed a lady had it crisscrossed, and you could see it creating a situation where ear could easily go through right to her mouth. And I'm wondering if that is really the best thing. Are these masks designed for the crisscrossing?
Well, no, but in these times you have to do something. Listen, on YouTube, they don't seem to teach you how to do it properly, which I have done, and it works
the
great.
crisscrossing?
Yes.
Oh.
How to get the mask to fit better on your face at the edges. Yeah. And it works great. So I've been doing it. So, it works fine. But YouTube is a very helpful tool.
So you're both recommending the crisscross. I just want to get that clear. You're both recommending that? The crisscross.
Anything can make it fit tight. Anything can make it fit tight on the side of your face. You don't get this lifting up so you can see around the corner. If crisscross what you need to do, it's what you need to do.
Yeah. Yes. Unfortunately, a lot of that, though, has to do with the fact, as I said, that you really only have limited choices in terms of sizes. So you'd have people with very small faces, and that mask there is ill-fitting. Yeah, but you have to do what you have to do to get the best fit possible. That mentioned YouTube, you actually have resources that will tell you how to make a proper cloth mask, right? Because a proper cloth mask, just a regular T-shirt, cotton, the undershirt, if you double that and if you cut it to a particular pattern and double layer it, has been shown to be able to filter up to 65% of particles. So YouTube is a good resource. Unfortunately, conventional wisdom would tell you that you can't trust everything on the internet, but we have to utilize these sources.
And you're saying
we can get good information.
Site, you're saying something like that?
Sorry?
The 3M, did you mention 3M website? Something like that?
No, class a while ago.
Earlier on in the discussion.
I did.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes.
What about the concerns about inhaling carbon dioxide as a result of wearing two masks? We already had difficulty with one. Dr. Manning? Well, 1 minute.
So,
Yes.
Yes, go ahead now.
Yes.
Right. So the masks are actually designed to allow you to breathe. I mean, you do have to have pores to allow you to get oxygen in and for you to exhale carbon dioxide. But even with the none of the masks are designed to be worn 24/7, and certainly with the N95 masks, if you really have to wear them for long periods of time, you can feel a bit uncomfortable. So you really have to, I think, give yourself a mask break, but that has to be in a safe environment. If you're there by yourself, at home, if you're alone in your car, there are situations where you have to give yourself a mask break.
Take a break. Okay. We have to take a break from this first watch. I want to thank you both gentlemen for joining us. All the best, doctors. Thanks for your service to the nation. Keep safe.
And so one little thing. Those masks that valve to breathe out, don't use those masks. They're dangerous to other people.
The what?
The mask with a valve when they can breathe out, exhalation valve.
Don't use those.
Nope.
Okay. All right.
For other people.
Thank you.
All right, welcome.
Okay. Listeners, the Morning Watch will return in just a moment.
JN Bank Live Online Banking is your quick and easy banking that's safe and secure. Sign up today. Visit jnbank.com. JN Bank will help you find a way. The time is
7:31.
You know how Jamaican people do everything extra, right? So why should planning your retirement be any different? Introducing JNGI Silver Shield. 2-in-1 coverage for motor vehicle and home including contents. See? Extra! Imagine 25% JN member discount, emergency roadside assistance, accident forgiveness up to $1 million and more! JNGI Silver Shield. Exclusively for members of the Caribbean community of retired persons. Visit jngi.com. JNGI will help you find a way. A member of the JN Group.
Phoenix Health and Vision Center now has 2 locations. St. Anne's Bay, 65 Main Street beside the health center. And now Shop 30 Champion Plaza, Falmouth, Trelawney. You heard me right. Shop 30 Champion Plaza, Falmouth, Trelawney. The only full-service eye care center for all your designer frames and designer glasses. Complete eye care. Book all your appointments now in St. Anne's Bay. Call 876-972-2388. 876-589-8327. For Falmouth and its environs, call this number 876-533-0540. Looking forward to seeing you at both locations. Phoenix Health and Vision Center. Now at Champion Plaza, Falmouth, Trelawney.
Are you doing enough to protect the health of your parents and grandparents? Our nation's elderly are the most vulnerable group of citizens to die from COVID-19. It is our duty as family members, caregivers, and community to protect their health and well-being. Let's do our part. Wear your mask around them. Wash and sanitize your hands when you are in their space. Provide comfort and emotional support during these very stressful times. Assist them with activities where there is a challenge or a need. Let us show our seniors that we truly care. For further information, contact the National Council for Senior Citizens toll-free 888-SENIORS or 876-736-4677 or call 876-906-9277 or visit www.mlss.gov.jm. A message from the Ministry of Labor and Social Security.
Now more than ever, Protex reminds you to wash your hands. A 40-second hand wash with soap could help prevent COVID-19. Look for Protex at your nearest store.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Let's look at the newspapers to see what Jamaicans and others are saying and doing. In the Gleaner, Cornwall crisis. Patients on oxygen clutter corridors as government launches COVID recruitment drive. And then top of the world, 11-year-old Jamaican Coda beats rivals in 70 nations. We also seen the Gleaner going after gun runners, law against trading, manufacturing of weapons a top priority. And in the Observer, COVID has a woman's face, says UN Secretary General. Says women and girls are bearing the greatest impact of the virus. And we see that JAAA gets all clear to resume track and field, as J3 is. And then the group says no to transgender changes on NIDS profiles. Those are some of the major stories in our newspapers. Coming up next, we'll read some of the feedback from our social media question. What about Jamaica would suggest we are not a Christian country? Please leave a comment on our Facebook page, Love 101 FM Jamaica, or WhatsApp 876-997-3125. We'll be right back.
We are in the season of Lent, and Love 101 is encouraging you to start or continue practicing habits that will bring you closer to God. Let us grow our prayer life to higher heights and deeper depths in God. Prayer simply means talking to God, but there's more. Don't forget to listen to Him as well. God is always ready to hear from His children. Get into your quiet, secret place daily. Listen to God speak to you and watch what happens when you pause, pray, praise, and press your way through. See what God has in store for you as you go through the season of Lent.
Here is a reminder from Love 101, the family station, as we face the COVID-19 pandemic. Masks are effective only when used in combination with frequent hand cleaning with soap and water or alcohol-based solutions. Wear a mask that is lined with 2 or more layers. When taking it off, ensure you dispose of it properly. I'm Nigel Wilkinson from Love 101, reminding you to protect yourself while protecting others. Stay safe and keep it locked on Love 101, the family station.
On Wednesday, February 24, Love 101 will present a series of live, delayed, and recorded services and programs, and we know a blessing awaits you. Listen at 7 p.m. as we share the opening of the 171st General Assembly of the Jamaica Baptist Union. Then at 8:30 p.m., we will share a delayed broadcast of the Christ for All Crises Crusade by the Waltham Park New Testament Church of God. At 9:30 p.m., listen for Empowerment for Godly Living, presented by the Redeemed Christian Church of God. That's Wednesday, February 24. Do keep it locked on Love 101, the family station.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Let's join Shavoni for a look at how our Facebook and WhatsApp friends answered today's question. What about Jamaica would suggest we are not a Christian country? Shavoni.
All right, in a commentary, this one says Jamaica is a Christian country. Just look at the lyrics of our national anthem. Yeah, and there are some other comments with this whole two-mask business. So,
what are they saying?
Boy, two-mask, oh God, I can't manage. This one say, oh, doctor, know that after wearing 4 or 5 times, they're not good. I've been washing and wearing mine since March, April. Money business. Boy, keep the conversation going, folks.
Since March of last year?
Since March. Wash them and wear them.
That's interesting.
Quite interesting, I tell you. Really
Thank you, somebody.
Yes, right.
Thanks, listeners and those who responded. Well, many of us have grown up hearing that Jamaica is a Christian country. But what does that really mean? And what are the indications and implications of a country being so designated? Of course, Jamaica is said to have more churches per capita in the world. But does such a claim mean that Jamaica is a Christian country? Or does it take more than that? Well, to discuss these and other related questions, we have joining us the Reverend Dr. George Mulrain, pastor of the Providence Methodist Circuit, and Mr. David Pearson, senior lecturer at the Jamaica Theological Seminary. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Dylan. Good morning, Dylan. Good morning, Pastor Mulrain. Good morning, Brother Pearson. Yes.
Good to have you both. All right. Let's begin with the most obvious question I could ask to begin our discussion. What, in your view, constitutes a Christian country? What are the main components or factors? And is Jamaica, in your view, a Christian country? Dr. Mulrain.
Well, thank you very much. Now, the fact that you ask what, in my view, constitutes a Christian country would indicate that there is no absolutely correct answer to the question.
Okay.
But I would say that the easiest indicator of a Christian country lies in it having the majority of the population as believers in Christ.
And by the same token, I would refer to a country as Muslim if the dominant religion is Islam and the Sharia law is appealed to. And so I would therefore say that Jamaica, by virtue of it acknowledging Christian principles, Christian values, is veering towards being a Christian country. Just to say, when we look at the anthem acknowledges the fatherhood of God, divine providence, guidance, and protection. The anthem acknowledges God, the giver of wisdom and knowledge. It acknowledges concern for the weak and vulnerable in society. So, in my opinion, these all point towards Christian aspirations. So that intent, I would say Jamaica is Christian.
So the anthem and the fact that the majority of the population are adherents to the Christian belief, Christian faith?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Brother Pearson, your take?
Yes, thanks again, Darren. There is a popular designation and there is a legal designation. What Pastor Mulvin has spoken about might indeed be a popular designation. Many people believe that because we are majority Christians and so on. And or he mentioned our anthem. And some people say our motto, anthem, and our pledge all point to us as being Christian. But there's a legal designation. And since 1962, Jamaica has been declared to be a constitutional democracy, okay, that guarantees religious freedom. And
what does that mean? What does constitutional democracy mean?
It means that we can't appeal to our motto or anthem or pledge in a court of law. Those things are not things that we appeal to. We are a country of laws that are governed by our constitution. And a part of that constitution says that we have religious freedom. And the other thing is that we don't have a state church. Usually, in a religious country, a country designated to be a religious country, has an official state religion. And Jamaica has no such. So from that standpoint, we are not a Christian country. We are a country that allows religious freedom, and we have a dominant Christian population. But from a legal standpoint, we are a constitutional democracy that guarantees religious freedom.
So we do not have a state church.
No, we don't.
How would that look? How does one determine that a state church runs a country? How is that normally done?
The state church doesn't run the country.
Yeah, run term. I mean, not run, but is acknowledged as a state church. How is that though? How is that?
Well, a state church would have been officially recognized in the Constitution as being such. And it would have been responsible for the religious instruction especially of our younger people as they grow up. And you have quite a few countries in the world that are Christian states with a state church that's responsible for instructing or instructing their populations in the ways of Christianity. Okay? The state church also gets direct support from government and in turn supports the government. But we don't have...
It's like Britain then, because they have a state. The Anglican Church or the Church of England is the state church.
Yes. But we have quite a number of other countries like that.
Okay, we're at a break. We'll be right back, gentlemen.
You're tuned to Love 101 FM, the family station. It's now 7:45.
BIP is giving away $1 million to one lucky school, and we need your help. Head to the BIP app and subscribe to the BIP to Win for Your School channel, where you can nominate your school for a chance to win. Get your schoolmates involved too. The more nominations, the better your school's chance of winning $1 million. Download the BIP app today. BIP, simply more messaging.
Bashko time. All the things that you need for your home and prices so low, you will never need a loan at Bashko. At Bashko. Appliances, house with furniture and rugs. East side linens and glass and mugs at Bashco. When you shopping at Bashco. Whether the north or south, in the east and the west, Bashco. Them all over, they must be the best at Bashco. At Bashco. When you shopping at Bashco. At Bashco. Giving you more.
Now more than ever, Protex reminds you to wash your hands. A 40-second hand wash with soap could help prevent COVID-19. Look for Protex at your nearest store.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint, and we are discussing in this, the second watch, is Jamaica really a Christian country? And I think we're having an interesting discussion with Reverend Dr. George Mulrain, pastor of the Providence Methodist Circuit, and Mr. David Pearson, senior lecturer at the Jamaica Theological Seminary. Let me just drill a little bit down even further, Brother Pearson. So you are saying that Jamaica is not a Christian country because of the constitutional, democracy that exists?
We're a constitutional democracy, right?
Good, and we do not have a state church.
Right.
Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, so what Dr. Mulrain had mentioned earlier about the majority of the population and the anthem, how does that factor in your thoughts?
Well, as I said, what it does show us is that we have a predominantly Christian population. We can't deny that. But in terms of a country, and it all depends on why you want designation. What's the important reason for the designation of being a Christian country or not?
Yes.
You know, that's a huge question we need to ask. Very often I've heard people say that the government of Jamaica must recognize that we are a Christian country. But constitutionally speaking, we are not a Christian country, and the government of Jamaica cannot make laws to favor Christians over anybody else.
Okay, well, let me. Yeah, I was saying that according to what Brother Pearson is emphasizing, that to say it's a Christian country or a Christian nation, it can be a meaningless concept unless the laws and so on dictate that it's Christian. But my emphasis is on people. A Christian country is one in which the people acknowledge the need to appeal to the God revealed in Jesus Christ, for ongoing guidance in every aspect of life.
And by people, you're saying the majority of the people.
The majority of the people. And this matter of state religion and so on, we may not have a Christian religion as state, but we have a majority of Christian churches. And the intent is that this nation will be Christian.
It's not there. It's not there yet, then, Dr. Mulrain.
It's not. Well, listen. let me, interesting point. Now, let me say, for example, right?
Uh-huh.
When we worship, we acknowledge that we are not perfect. We confess that we have sinned, and following the confession, we receive assuring words of Christ that our sins are forgiven. And so it affirms for us as Christians that we are not being hypocritical when we describe ourselves as bearers of the Christian label. Yes, we profess Christianity, and we are under no delusion that we are perfect. But we believe that we are moving towards perfection, whereby we love God with heart, soul, mind, strength, and our neighbors as ourselves. So what I'm saying there is that the intention is there that Jamaica is Christian. And just as I cannot be faulted for claiming to be Christian, as I'm fully conscious of my own failings, but I'm saying that the good news is that I have every inclination of being a Christian, albeit a work in progress. And so,
Sorry, Dr. Mullen, love of God and all those moral principles are not unique to the Christian faith, are they?
Quite fair enough. They are not unique.
Yes.
But these are things to which we aspire. And if initially the Christian faith has had an impact, some influence in the framing of the laws of Jamaica, well then, yes, initially it's Christian.
Okay. Let me know. Let's go into the scripture a little bit, gentlemen, because there are two passages of scripture, two phrases and verses that are normally persons mention it very often in regards to this topic. And the first one is, "Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord." Psalm 33, verse 12. And then we have 2 Chronicles 7, verse 14. "If my people shall call by my name shall humble themselves," etc. Beginning with you, Brother Pearson, what's your take on that in light of our discussion this morning?
Well, the nation of Israel was indeed a theocracy, and those writings come from the theocratic state of Israel that recognize themselves as being God's people, in a distinct way.
Does that apply to Jamaica then?
No, it doesn't. It may apply to Christians in Jamaica, but not to Jamaica as a country.
Well, it applies to Christians in Jamaica.
Yeah.
And so that's my emphasis, that the people matter in the country.
But if my people, Dr. Mulray, if my people shall call by my name, humble themselves, seek my face, turn from the wicked ways, I'll hear from heaven, forgive their sin, heal their land.
Yeah.
If my people, is that in reference to Christians?
It is in reference to those who acknowledge God. They are God's people. I know the emphasis, the person mentioned Israel.
Right.
I am saying that these words hold out a promise that when the people of a nation, when they acknowledge the supreme spiritual being, and when, their earthly rulers do not claim excessive power unto themselves, that is where the promise is that, prosperity will be yours. God will continue to pour out blessings upon your land.
So why is Jamaica experiencing that then? Because the people who are called by his name in Jamaica are doing all those things, at least some. Every Wednesday, all the churches have prayer and fasting. Why are we not seeing that?
Again, I refer to my reference as a work in progress.
Okay.
It may be that we are not there as yet.
Oh dear.
But we are moving towards it. You see? So even though we cannot, claim, oh yes, we are a Christian nation and so on, we are moving towards it. So time will tell.
What we see in the Old Testament is like, if my people who are called by name, that passage. It is in a reference to an Israel who constantly broke their covenant with God. And so here's a reminder, that the prophet is saying to the nation of Israel, if you would just hold your end of the covenant, God will look after you. We have no such covenant as a people in Jamaica with God. In fact, the way the scriptures play out, what we have come to see is that, I don't like the word dispensation because I'm not a dispensationalist, but people understand.
Right.
In this particular time, Jesus Christ, the coming of Jesus Christ, has transformed our allegiances from a nation having a relationship with God to individuals having a relationship with God. Okay? And my concern, Dylan, is that we oftentimes, in our present debate, in our present discourse of things in Jamaica, we oftentimes claim Christian designation of a country because we want the government to pass laws that favor our Christian morality.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying it cannot work that way in a constitutional democracy that guarantees religious freedom.
So before we move on, Christians in Jamaica should not claim, in quotations, that verse, 2 Chronicles 7:14, for themselves.
The principle that they can claim, I'm thinking, is that when we honor God, God will honor us. That's
there's this emphasis in Christianity that we are the new Israel.
Yes.
And that is one of the concepts that we cannot dismiss. That, okay, these
in the
scriptural
Pauline
references.
epistles.
Huh?
In the Pauline epistles, we get that, don't we?
Yeah. So these scriptural references are referring not just to Israel of yesterday, but Israel of today, which includes the church. So Christians are now part of that those
new
directives. Exactly. That's my point.
But the promises then, Dr. Mullerin, will apply differently to a people who have individual relationships with God, as opposed to a nation that has a special relationship with God.
But it's a new nation. He's saying, Dr. Mullerin, I think he's saying it's a new nation.
It's a new nation. It's a new Catholic nation, universal nation. Okay, that is not made up by geographical borders.
Right.
You know, we are a people all over the world, okay, who are a part of the nation of God, so to speak. But it's not a geographical nation.
When it mentioned "if my people" there, it's not talking about geographical borders.
Yeah, but
it's talking about the people who are Jews. Regardless of where they are.
No, it is speaking to Israel as a nation.
But it was geographical borders.
In that day, okay, the people of the world didn't know about international travel like we have, and migration and residence in different places. So even if you had Israelites living somewhere else, they were not like what we have today. Okay, so different.
So this is why the new Israel obtains that it's a new scenario. It's not the same as in the time of the prophet. Right. But when the prophet spoke, when, for example, Amos talks about righteous living, okay, it was directed to the people of that particular time. But we today cannot disregard and say, well, these things have no relevance to our life.
No, I'm not saying it has no relevance. I'm saying that we can't claim any special privilege as being a Christian country. Therefore, God has a special obligation to us to heal our land when we, that's not how the promise plays out for us today. But the Old Testament captures God's heart. It captures the character of God that we as Christians, we ought to display in how we live. So of course we give ourselves over to prayer. Of course we give ourselves over to righteousness. Of course we give ourselves over to justice, because that is God's heart. That's what we should be doing. But we don't then turn around and claim that Jamaica has a special place in God's heart because we're a Christian country.
Dr. Mullerin, you have the final say. Half a minute.
Okay, well, what I'm saying is that Jamaica can justifiably be described as a Christian country because we espouse and aspire to Christian values. And the articles that are enshrined in our constitution or legal documents are such as originated with Jesus Christ. And Christianity ought rightly to be credited with them. So what I'm saying is that the concept of Christian-oriented country for Jamaica is quite in order. We are Christian-oriented.
Quite an interesting and insightful discussion. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us.
Thank you, Brother David.
Okay, Brother George. Take it easy.
Thank you, listeners, for being with us. Join us again tomorrow as we continue to set the stage for a discussion of topical and controversial issues. For information or get copies of this program, call our production department at 876-968-9596-7. This has been The Morning Watch. Thanks to our producer, Miss Kathy Gale, and our guests. I am Dylan Toussaint, and you back to Love in the Morning with Siobhan Blair.
You're tuned to Love 101, the family station, The Morning Watch, brought to you today by Colgate Triple Action.
Hey, psst, come closer. I want to tell you my secret. My son wears his favorite shirt for everything, and no matter how much he runs, jumps, and plays, it always looks like new and smells really good. My secret? I use Suavitel Superior Care. Keeps my family's clothes as good as new. Suavitel, as soft as a mother's love.
Grace Tropical Rhythms with reduced sugar but with the same love. With Grace, you have better choices for a better life.
The time brought to you by Grace Kennedy is
8:01. It's time for the program Forward in Faith, brought to you by the Port Moody Testament Church of God.
The Lord will return to things